begins the panel at Ohayocon. That thing. So, hopefully we can get this on the ball. And hopefully I don't lose my mind in the process. And it looks like we have a full house. So, elementary my dear otakus may now commence.
So let's get the pictures out of the way. These are pretty much all I took. Boom, boom, boom. Sorry, friend, I wasn't gonna tell you had bunny ears. But yeah. Boom and boom. So yeah, I basically had a pretty decent weekend considering it was Ohayocon. But interestingly enough, I was gonna post this up a little earlier than 5 months ago, but unfortunately due to school I was unable to do so, and finals was last week, so yay, I get to finally do this now. So it was a really cold, wintry weekend, and quite frankly, I'm not all too surprised at the outcome. It was an average con, it was a fun con. I can't say anything bad about it, nothing to memory can change my mind either way. But as I was thinking and walking around the halls, I was trying to think of what I wanted to think about this con, because there was something I didn't admit during my Colossicon Thoughts from Places video, and that's that I had met someone, but at the time, we didn't know where it was going, and we had thought, well, let's use Ohayocon as our first date. Coincidentally, this Ohayocon became our third or fourth date, so we're actually on the ball here. So at this point in time, I'm not even going to mention his name, or who he is, or who in this video it is. It's not anybody's business at the moment, but probably during the Colossicon video, which is in about a month, I'll probably post something about that. But this Ohayocon, it felt very different. Like, something felt very, very different, and maybe it was because I had more than a friend with me, and that might have made a very big difference for me. But I think, in a way, it did more than that for me. And I think the theme I wanted to go with was change, and how things were the same, but they were all different, all at the same time, and how I felt like that something was different, that something had come over me at the time, and maybe it was this newfound quote-unquote more than friend, but at the same time, I feel like it was more than that. I feel like something was genuinely different, and you can't put your finger on it. It feels the same, you know, I've done this convention quite a few times over. In fact, it was one of my first conventions was coming down here to Columbus and enjoying myself, especially despite the cold winter's snow. But as I walked around the halls during that convention, it felt fresh. It felt new. Something old, something borrowed, something blue. You know the whole thing. I don't know. Doctor Who reference? No, not at all. But anyway, I kind of felt like something had changed, like I said before. But this time around, it felt genuinely, I don't know. I don't know, because the weird thing was, during this con, I wasn't in my room as usual. You know, usually I go back to my room to chill out. I go back to my room to relax. Both Colossicon and this con, I went back to my other than friend's room. You know, I went to his room. And yes, here he is doing a simple, literal moonwalk. That's not even politically correct, you poor child. But I felt that I was starting to realize what I am doing at these conventions. I might have mentioned it during my Colossicon video, but I feel like I'm coming to these conventions for different reasons now. They're not just about cosplay anymore. When I first started going to conventions, I was going because anime and video games, and as I progressed throughout going to these conventions, I found myself not going for the anime purposes. And it wasn't just the fact that I was starting to run out of anime steam, and that I was veering away from anime, but it was mostly because I felt that my interests spread. You know, my interests become spread out like butter on bread. You know, I'm not gonna just stay near the crust. I'm gonna go search around and see what else I can find. And at conventions, I do feel like there's a big, giant repetition of things. It's an anime convention, so it's expected to find anime. But at the same time, you can find video games, pop culture references, and and American references, which I always found weird at an anime convention. But hey, I just did a Sherlock panel there at the Ohayocon, which, hey, first time, can't say I did too bad at least, right? I didn't do too bad, even though half the room left, right? It wasn't bad, right? Anyway, so I really don't know how else to explain my thoughts on the change that I felt, because as I was progressing, it felt different. And maybe it was because I had a full idea of what I wanted and what I felt and needed at the time. And I have to admit, there's a lot of footage that's not going to be put into this video. I'll put them as separate footage links. Because I can't just put it in here and then mute it. They have really special moments in there that kind of show my character a little bit. But also genuine moments that happened at con. And I can't just mute it out, you know. And I did a little intro there with the Sherlock panel, but at the same time, that was it. You know, I was done. I wasn't gonna just, you know, cut out of this little commentary for the video for the weekend. I think in a way I felt genuinely excited for Ohayocon, even though I had been there multiple times. I ended up having more fun than I thought, but I found out I was having more fun by being with my friends than I was at the convention, and that's not anything against the convention. In fact, the convention went smoothly. There was very little problems. In fact, bless this one girl's soul, as we were standing in line, actually, for this very panel that was showing with Vic Mignogna and his new Star Trek series. I'll get to that if you guys want to sometime, but it's okay. It's not bad. But anyway, there's this girl standing in line with us, waiting for the Vic Mignogna panel, because, hey, we had nothing else better to do, and hey, Vic derp-a-derp. But we were literally standing in line. This girl was like, were you the one that did the Sherlock panel? I was like, yeah? I didn't know how to respond to it. It's something I get usually pointed out for. And she looked at me and said, it was a really great panel. You did really good. And I was like, really? And she said, yeah. You were very intelligent about the subject. You knew a lot, and you were entertaining, and for some reason, when I realized that, it had really struck me, and my group was behind me, and I was like, can I get a hug? And she was like, yeah, and she embraced me. She embraced me, and that was the first night. That was Friday night. Vic Mignogna was Saturday night, and I was just like, yeah, I really enjoyed myself, but it wasn't because the cosplays, and that's nothing against the cosplays. I saw some really cool cosplays. I genuinely felt that there was something different, and maybe it was because there was a new person in my arsenal of people to hang out with. In fact, this Colossicon, I'll be with him this time, and this is a little bit more personal now. This isn't just conventions. This is very personal now, where I'm starting to realize what I'm going to these things for. You know, I'm going because I like to present. I like panels. I love doing panels. It's such a bummer that this year I only have one panel to do, and it's such a pain. I feel so horrible for that. But it's a Sherlock panel, so we'll see how it goes. But as I stood over those balconies, and I looked at people, and you kind of get into this meditative state sometimes. And that can happen at any time, where you just get very meditative, and a million things go through your head, or maybe one thing will go through your head. And I think when you take those moments to just watch people be people, you kind of realize there's a lot going on at once. There's a consistent change. It's a paradox. The only consistency is change. And I feel like this panel, this convention even, kind of brought change. And even as I was driving home, I kind of went into a meditative state as I was driving. And I kind of realized that there is a lot of change going on. And it was a good change. The convention, I may not go to this convention very much longer, much more, due to school. I'll be possibly going full-time. And if all else fails, I will be doing more than I could before, but I won't be able to do it here at Ohayocon. And hopefully this won't be the last time I go, but hopefully there'll be more to come. And hopefully I'll get better at putting out these videos. This is a horrible one take. I don't care. Some of you want to see yourselves in these videos, and I don't want to push you guys away from that. But hopefully this Colossal Con will be much better turned out video-wise, and hopefully maybe I will understand why I'm so excited about these changes.